What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Console Kits Podcast. In this episode, we're talking about... What are we talking about again? So the story of today is all about how it started and how it's going. So this entire idea is to kind of show that there's been bumps in the road from Arcade1Up in the past. This is nothing new, and we're going to see where this is all going. I'm really excited for 2023, some of the different cabinets that are probably coming out in 2023 later in this episode. We're going to talk about that. But before we get into that, I want to show you something that I kind of put together. You know, I want to talk over it, and we'll get into it. So it all started... Let's hit play on this little video that I have here. So the year was 2028, and Arcade1Up was at E3 introducing their Arcade1Up cabinets, right? So this is back in the day when the deck protectors weren't installed on it. There was plenty of issues. This is the first time I ever saw an Arcade1Up from Kelsey, and later, by December 2018, I made a video on it. I had 4 Arcade1Up cabinets at the time. Now, I wanted to get full-size cabinets, but I thought $300 for an Arcade1Up cabinet would be pretty decent. But E3 2019, this is when they took it to a whole new level. And you've probably heard me tell this story before, the concept of E3 really changing the game. But it's important that we talk about it because Arcade1Up has made steps forward, and then they make steps back. Now, this is something that I really want. I'm trying to get like a full-size Star Wars, but about $3,000. But here's the thing, this year we saw the Golden Tee XL. That takes it to a whole new level, these Arcade1Up cabinets that have no riser. But here's the thing, we had this monitor gate, which kind of changed the game all year. It's like no one wanting to buy these newer cabinets because of the monitor gate. What about Killer Instinct Pro? This is supposed to be coming out by the end of the year, but I heard they're not going to have the monitor gate. Supposedly they have a BOE monitor. What about 2023? It's supposed to be the year of the XL and the Pro. Meanwhile, we got cabinets that are coming out this year already that are getting people frustrated, right? We have the NFL Blitz, which is awesome that they were able to do it. I got to play it with some buddy of mine. It was a lot of fun, but doesn't have online multiplayer, and that's going to upset a lot of people, rightfully so, because this is evidently being shipped early and it's not done yet, but hopefully we will see a fix of that soon. Frustrations, a lot of frustrations, and I totally get it. The NFL Blitz doesn't have late hits. It's the big joke of the year. Some people don't mind it. Some people think it's just fine. And some people are like, I'm not going to buy it. Definitely vote with your wallet. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Another thing, the wait is over, but it sounds like a lot of people are still going to be waiting for this cabinet because the pre-orders, evidently they didn't make enough. But I think the pre-orders continue to be available at different retailers. I think Shop Hippo right now actually has these available in stock. And so if you're interested in this, you might want to pick one up. But also, are you going to have online? The people that do have it don't have online yet on the primary game. And then I'm hearing information about desync issues on the games that are already supporting online play. And that's just what's been going on in the last couple months. We kind of went from 2018, 2019 to today pretty quickly, but a quick glance of it, a lot of people in the chat, they probably enjoyed the benefits of all the positivity from all the different cabinets over the year. Now, there's some people that have quality issues. For sure, if you get a cabinet that has some quality issues, like a very specific cabinet that gets shipped to you and the monitor just doesn't work. And I've been looking into that, and there's some people that say, yeah, I reached out to customer support, and even after the customers, the warranty was over, and they were able to get the Arcade1Up part replaced. And some people have to wait. But I started to think about this, and it's like almost like I don't know if it needs to have a reminder, but this is where it all began. In 2018, immediately there was issues, right? Immediately there was issues with, remember, hit 1 in the chat if you were there in the beginning when the Arcade1Up cabinets didn't even have a deck protector, right? And the idea of a deck protector wasn't even a thing that came into their mind, right? But the oils from your hands would cause the artwork on the cabinet to rub off. And guess what happened? The community screamed at the top of the lungs, this is a problem, you guys have to fix it. And what did they do? They reacted, they made some videos. You guys remember those days? They made some videos, they're like, we're gonna send out free deck protectors to everybody. the next 3 months. And then if you wanted to buy some deck protectors, those were available. But then we heard like, well, they were available for $30, but if you called them, they would still give them to you for free. And then by Gen 2, Gen 3, every cabinet just came with a deck protector. So it seems as though if your voice is loud enough and there's a common problem in the community, Arcade1Up will fix it. They've always done that in the past. Again, individual situation. I know I've had situations where one of my monitors went out on my original Street Fighter. It just had a little green line through it, but I didn't say anything. I didn't reach out to customer service, and now a whole bunch of people were telling me, what is wrong with you, Justin? You should have said something. I was like, well, I was out of warranty. It was like 3 months later, and they're like, Arcade1Up replaces parts like a year later. Now, that's not in any of their description. They say, you know, you have a 3-month warranty, but what they say on their website, it seems as though at least some people are reporting that, hey, they were able to get those parts replaced. So I started to think about my position or my situation. I don't know if position is the right word, but what I'm trying to talk about is like, why did I get involved in this hobby to begin with? You know, where did it all start for me? And in the chat, I'd like to hear what you guys have to say of why you were interested in this home arcade hobby, right? And so my story is this. So in 2018, I was remodeling my basement, and my plan was to buy a full-size cabinet. Now, when I told my wife about this, I didn't say full size, you know, because the concept of a 3/4 scale cabinet didn't really exist in early 2018. So it was early 2018. We're finishing the basement, and we're going to, my plan is to build a game room and then buy an arcade. And I tell my wife, I want to get 2 arcades. I want to get a PlayChoice, and I want to get a Neo Geo, but I wasn't sure which one I would get. Like I was telling her, I'll probably only get one of those. But the idea of kind of like a genuine multicade was something that I wanted to do. And as I bought more full-size cabinets, that seems to be a theme as well. Like I'm kind of looking at cabinets that have the capability of like multiple games on it, right? So we priced it out. It was about $2,000, we thought, for one cabinet. There was a guy locally that would build a cabinet, so that was an option. Just build a replica cabinet, probably about $2,000, commercial level, right? And then the Arcade1Up came out. So I thought, hey, $300 for the Street Fighter. I told my wife, I'll try that. You know, I'll see if the Street Fighter for $300 is a good deal. And if it's not, I'm only out $300, and then I'll just buy the full-size cabinet anyway. And so that was kind of interesting, and I ended up getting those cabinets, and as you saw from that video, you know, I ended up getting 4 of them, and I was like, hey, this is kind of quenching that thirst, right? And to this day, I have over 10, I don't know, I lost count, I don't count how many cabinets I have, whether it's full size or whatever. It's probably bad to count in my head. So anyway, I have these 3/4 scale cabinets, over 10, maybe 15 of them or whatever. But I also have about 10 full-size cabinets. And so looking back, it's like I was going to buy just one Arcade1Up, and then I'm just going to buy one full-size cabinet. In the end, I have over 10 of both, right? So that wasn't the original plan, but that's where we ended up, right? And I started thinking about it like this year, I actually canceled many pre-orders from Arcade1Up. And the reason why is now my friends are trying to convince me to get a pinball machine, right? And pinball machines are pretty expensive. And now I really got to save money, right? So now I realize some people say this concept of full-size cabinets or an Arcade1Up is a gateway to full-size cabinets. And I've always disagreed with that. And I still disagree with that concept because I have both. So my basement is filled with Arcade1Up cabinets, but in the corner here, I have full-size cabinets as well. And so I think the two can coexist. But now I'm getting to the point where the idea of pre-ordering an Arcade1Up, I'm hesitating to do that because now these cabinets are competing for space and money, especially when you're starting to say, hey, maybe I want to get a full-size cabinet that's not $500, right? Or not $1,000, but some of the cabinets that I really, really want are $3,000. So that's a really big commitment. think of how many Arcade1Up cabinets you could get for $3,000. Now, if it's the XL cabinet, maybe that number is 3, you know, if they end up selling them for $1,000. But this is where I'm at, where I'm actually really frustrated because I'm in this position where I'm looking all over for full-size cabinets that are titles that I really want. And the titles that I really want are stupid expensive, right? So the full-size Star Wars cabinet that I've been thinking about, $6,000 was one that I found, $3,000 for one that's like not even in good shape, but $6,000 for one that's like pretty good shape. But then it's stupid huge. It's really far away because I live in Iowa. So now I'm like thinking, okay, no, Justin, don't wait for a $3,000 cabinet or a $6,000 cabinet to be available. Wait for Arcade1Up to release an XL or a Pro version of the Star Wars cabinet, because then that one would only cost $1,000 or $1,500. Even if it's $1,500, it's way cheaper. And then some of the full-size cabinets that I've been thinking about buying have LCD screens in them. Crappy LCD screens. So I'm like, wait a second. So I contact this guy. He's got a cabinet that I'm thinking about getting that's $950, and it has a worse monitor than that's in the Arcade1Up cabinet. So I'm like, well, what do I do? Do I wait for Arcade1Up to come out with a cabinet that I really want that they haven't yet? Or do I spend a ton of money on a cabinet that's going to cost me even more money to be able to maintain and fix up? Because the OCD in me, you know, with these CRT monitors, I'm going to want to have that CRT to have like 10,000 more hours of life. And it's like, that is stupid expensive to do that. I know a guy, I trust a guy, but he lives far away to be able to do that refurbishing for me. And it's like, that alone would cost a lot of money. Or, you know, I can just get an LCD, which I've also been thinking about doing. Could I just get my own, you know, 4x3 monitor that's a 25-inch and source it from China and then get it over and hook up a connector to it and hook it up to my own multicade, basically build my own. There's a ton of people that comment on my videos that are like, why would you spend any money on Arcade1Up? For less price, you can build your own. No way you can build your own for less than that. Are you kidding me? What are you talking about? Like, is the build your own any good? I don't think the build your own is going to be any good. You probably got a 16:9 monitor. It's probably got a ton of lag on that monitor. Like, give me if you're the type of person that says you can actually build your own cabinet for under $1,000, that's 10 times better than anything that I could find, you know, from Arcade1Up, say like the XL. Show me how to do it. Tell me how to do it. Comment down below and be like, this is the monitor you buy. This is the PCB you hook up to it. This is the computer you hook up to it. And this is how you build the cabinet. Under $1,000, I don't think it's possible. Now, maybe you're going to get a Street Fighter cabinet that's all beat up, that's like $500, and you're going to refurbish it, but you're talking a couple $100 for an LCD monitor. You're talking a couple $100 for a computer, and maybe, you know, but like the price is still going to go up. You got to budget these things. The budget is going to go really high. So let me kind of show you what I'm talking about here. Let's see. So P-Dubs, before I click on that, P-Dubs says the cheapest multicade build I've done is $600, and that's converting an Arcade1Up. That's pretty interesting. Then I'm dealing with the idea that is that what I want? Because I have all these cabinets that are full-size cabinets that are in my garage, and today I was like, oh, I'll see if I can move some of them over to this other part of the garage because winter is coming, and then maybe I'll get them down into my basement. I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. Maybe I'll put them on this other side of the garage and get my car in there. And it's like, it's really frustrating. It's super frustrating because it's challenging. And literally, if I want to move any of my Arcade1Up cabinets, I can move them like throughout the house to a different room, no problem. So it's, I don't know. What do you guys think while I pull up this next little video file that I'd like to share to kind of talk about it? So honestly, this is what's getting to me. I'm thinking about this idea of waiting and putting a freeze on any more buying of full-size cabinets because of the XL and Pros that could be coming out next year. So first I'll show you a video, this one right here. So this is the basement that you don't typically see because it's off camera. So this is my room with my lights on. So I'm gonna switch over here. That's not what I'm trying to do. Here we go. So what we're talking about is it's just over there a little bit. And so this is the lights room. You can see it's just a basement, and I have a PlayChoice 10 over here. This PlayChoice 10, I got it along with, what did I get? Along with the Neo Geo. And it was $2,300 in really, really good shape. And this PlayChoice was fully refurbished. The Pac-Man next to it was about $900, but it's a Cabaret. Love the Cabaret. That's a really good cabinet. So here's the PlayChoice 10, and it has the volcano buttons. And think about this like it's an Arcade1Up cabinet. If they came out with this, right? You're like, it's got the white T molding, right? It's got a marquee that looks exactly like the PlayChoice. You got the Nintendo joysticks, right? You got the different buttons. You got volcano buttons, right? It's really nice, but keep in mind, like, think about how much money that I spent on this. And inside here, it doesn't stop there because it did come with a PlayChoice, but I had to mod it, right? So I went and bought a whole bunch of PCBs. So I had to buy, because I think it came with 3, I want to say. So I bought like, 8 more, and I think I have 3 more PCBs. Like, I can't fit any more games on it, right? And so then it's got a game link on it, which is $150, and then it's got a power pack on it, which is another $150. So we're talking about $300 that I had to spend. So this is the PlayChoice customization. It's the Game Link PC10 cartridge. This allows you to plug in NES carts to your PlayChoice, and then power pack. It's actually about $150 now with shipping, right? So you're about $300 in, and then you'll be able to play whatever games you want on the original hardware. So that's the idea of a PlayChoice. Now, I've seen some, I've been looking at Facebook Market. If you want to get full-size arcades, evidently you should live in Ohio. So Ohio is just filled and filled and filled. I swear, like, every cabinet that I want to get keeps on showing up in Ohio. And I live in Iowa, which is different from Ohio. So let me look at the chat. I think a couple of you guys were chatting what your thoughts were. Had a Bachelor with a $4.27. It's an interesting number. Quick break from backing loading. Hello. Thank you so much, How to Bachelor, for the super chat. I'm puzzled why. You can donate whatever amount of money you want, but the $4.27 is a very interesting. It's an interesting number. I've just never seen that. P-Dub says, I was walking through Walmart, saw a 1UP Street Fighter 2, told my wife that was interesting as she bought it for me for Father's Day, discovered Glenn and Cool Toy on YouTube. The rest is history. So that's his quick story of how he got into this. Let's see. Oh, that's right. Lewis Chambers is talking about how the original Arcade1Up Gen 1 cabinets were all mono, and that's true. And only left side speaker was audio was working on some of those games, right? Wonder if anyone canceled their Marvel vs. Capcom 2 cab pre-order because of the Wi-Fi issue. It's so what he's talking about is the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 does not have online play yet. It's not released. It says that it's going to be released later, but there's a lot of doubt in the community whether Arcade1Up will actually be able to provide an online service for Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and the communication from Arcade1Up is waning and lack of information. There was supposed to be an update. We don't have an update yet, so they're late on their updates, so it's caused a lot of people to be concerned about it. I did order a Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and I did cancel my pre-order, but I didn't cancel the pre-order because of the Wi-Fi issue. I canceled it because I'm trying to save up for a pinball machine, and if I continue to spend money, basically, my wife and I now have an Apple Card, which is pretty nice. We're using that for our primary credit card, and it's very transparent how much money you're spending, because your phone is like basically, hey, you just spent money. Hey, you just spent money. And it kind of accumulates by day and by week. And so there's a lot of transparency in our transactions now. And it's kind of holding me to, I told my wife I got to save up money, and she's like, she's not pressuring me to like not spend money, but I'm kind of pressuring myself because I'm starting to see how quickly the money can add up. And so that's why I canceled my pre-order. Do what you got to do when it comes to Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I don't know. I don't know the future. I don't know the outcome of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. How could anyone know, right? Unless you're like, because they're not sharing any details about the ability for Marvel vs. Capcom 2 to have online, right? Like, no one from QA at Arcade1Up is sharing details of whether the online experience for Marvel vs. Capcom 2 will be high quality or low quality. So we just don't know. So Zero Hiller said he saw the cabinet at Walmart, went to YouTube, saw Justin's video on Pac-Man, and I bought it. Thanks, Justin. Yeah. Let's see. Nooner says to bring an arcade feel to my home without having to get the real deal, as it was cheaper, easier, and more compact. So this is the interesting thing, because I think this is what Arcade1Up's plan is to blur the lines between a full-size cabinet and their version, right? And you can argue, I mean, I could argue, anyone could argue, that Arcade1Up will never compete with the real original cabinets. Sure, that's probably a true statement. But on the other hand, you could also say Nintendo could never compete with the original Nintendo. And I would be like, are you kidding me? The original Nintendo 8-bit is a masterpiece, right? And if you can upgrade the video quality of that original hardware, which people have done, and I've modded many consoles to do it, nothing compete with that. And then they have the Switch that has a really good emulator on it. And the convenience of being able to play Nintendo games on Switch Online is pretty sweet. And so the Switch in some ways competes very well with the original consoles because of convenience. So could you apply the same logic to an Arcade1Up, where it's like the Arcade1Up is competing positively with a full-size cabinet because of convenience? Like, it's pretty easy for me to spend $500 occasionally on an Arcade1Up cabinet. It's a different story if I'm like, hey, honey, what do you think about me spending $3,000 on another arcade? She's like, I mean, she's a very reasonable wife. If I could persuade her, probably, be like, hey, this is something I really want. And she would be like, I love you. If that's what you want to spend our money on, that's fine. But I'm the one that's like not really sure if I want to spend that money on it, on a really big cabinet, right? Okay, so let me show you something and we'll get back to the chat in a second. So this is the Golden Tea cabinet. This is in our family room just around the corner. And if you take a look at this, ignore the monitor for a second, but I think the marquee is fine. If you zoom in a little bit on the actual, let me rewind this, on the actual marquee, it looks bright. It looks bright, so that part of the marquee is really good. But it seems as though this has an issue where it's like the PDF or whatever, the art that they're using, it looks like it's, a little grainy. But like it doesn't have dark spots on it. Other than that, it looks really good. So I'm fine with the marquee on this cabinet. And the speakers on it do look small, and I hope the Pro versions, like the Street Fighter Pro coming out 2023, I hope that like has larger speakers. We'll probably hear more about that between now and the end of the year when KI Pro, more details about KI Pro and the pre-order for KI Pro become available. It's supposed to have like Yamaha speakers, at least that's what they said in their earlier rendition of it. We don't know if it's going to have exactly the same specs, more or less. But I'm wondering if it's going to have bigger... I know it's going to have more speakers. I think there was 4 speakers in it. But this space kind of looks empty on the Golden Tee. So that's an improvement they can make. And then the monitor, if you're looking right on it, perfectly right on it, and I'll show a little bit later, it's not too bad. But you can still see some quality issues even if you're dead on with the cabinet. So this is where... like the cabinet is just huge. Like in the chat, who else has... this Golden Tee cabinet? Hit 1 in the chat. I'd like to hear from you. If you do have, tell me what you think about the Golden Tee if you have it. And this is what I keep coming back to because it's the only cabinet that I have from Arcade1Up that's an XL. And this XL, I'm telling you, is big, but it's still portable. And Michael B, I was talking to him because now he's got some XLs, NBA Jam XL, I think Golden Tee XL, and he's like all in because it's like, despite the monitor, and of course it has just this fantastic coin door. I was thinking, I was like comparing it to the other coin doors that I have, and it's just like the real coin doors that I have Some of them are old and like dirty and ugly looking and need repaired. And I just wish they all looked like this. And like all the cabinets that I have, none of them are coin operated, the full size ones. Like they're all like you tap a button to put a credit in anyway. So it's like I don't think I really have a working quarter drop arcade, right? And so, and even the ones that I do, I had the Roblasters cockpit for a while, and in that one, you just open it up and tap the button. It's like I'm not actually putting quarters in. Anyway, so the Golden Tee is pretty fantastic, except for the monitor. The shape of it is gigantic, and it's still got that convenience. Like if I want to move this upstairs, maybe I'd ask my wife to help me lift it. Maybe I could take it apart and separate it. And there's my dog, Pepper. She's amazing. Anyway, but it's totally possible. So I'm sitting here because this is one of my goals. My wife says that she doesn't want this cabinet in our spare entertainment room anymore. And I'm sitting there thinking like, well, that's no big deal. Like I can move it into the other room, no problem. And the only issue is if I needed to move it up the stairs. If I needed to move it up the stairs, that's when I could ask her for help. But it's asking my wife for help, which it's not like asking two friends to come over and help me lift up a full-size cabinet up steps or down steps and just 0 more dog talk. Yeah, I'll show you that. I'll show you real quick. So Pepper, she's a German Shepherd, and we've had her, she's a COVID puppy, and so she didn't have a lot of interactions with other people because of COVID, and that's when we got her. So she's very nervous around people, but we've trained her. She can sit, stay, go through your legs. She can hold biscuits on her nose, and she loves us. She absolutely loves us. And even though she's scared, I think she's protective, actually. Anyway, let's go back into the chat and see what you guys have to say about this. Does anyone have a Golden Tee XL? And am I the only one that bought the Golden Tee XL? Let's see. I'm looking for Golden Tee XL comments. Let's see. Sheline says you can easily do a multicade build from scratch for $600 to $800. See, okay, this is. I get this, Sheline. I'm not arguing the idea that you can take a computer and for $600 to $800, like have a multicade, right? Like I have that. I have an Optiplex, and I have a few of them, and I have some Dell monitors, But where are you gonna put it? Right? You gotta, are you just, because it's one thing, because I have some buddies that they will never buy a full-size cabinet. They'll never buy an Arcade1Up, but they do have the Dell, what is it? The 2007 FBF. Is that right? FBF. And they just set up like a little gaming area, right? So they take the screen and they put little speakers underneath it. They kind of mount it like it's a computer. They have like a Mister plugged into it, or they got a PC plugged into it with multiple builds. And then they got like a fight stick plugged in over USB. And in the case of the Mister, it's like lag free, where like the controller is pulling at 1,000 times per second, right? Like you probably can't get much better for about $500-$600. I have that set up as well. Except if you want to put it in a cabinet, what are you going to put it in? So some of your options are you're putting it into an AtGames Legends Ultimate, but that's buying a home arcade. Or other options is putting all of that inside an Arcade1Up, but that's buying a home arcade. Another option is to buy like a project cabinet, right? So even the cheapest project cabinet that I could get that's good would be like a Street Fighter, probably not the model that I want. And that alone for me is $600 at an auction, and then I got to get it back to my house. So when I put that all together, I'm still looking at over $1,000, right? But I have many full-size arcades, and I have many ways to play the multicades. But what I want to do is spend money on something that I really enjoy, like a collection. And so it's like, do I go to an auction and get a Dig Dug full-size cabinet because I don't like the Arcade1Up version? Well, the last time a Dig Dug was available to me to buy, that was $700, and it was in decent shape, but still needed work. It's got a CRT, but the CRT wasn't great. So it's like, now I'm going to spend even more money and put into it. My point here is not debating which one's better or which one's worse. I'm demonstrating my dilemma of this crap is expensive no matter what, right? Because you can take things out of it and just say, screw it, just play on your television because you already own a television. Cool. Well, then that's just not enjoying the home arcade hobby where you're playing something that resembles an arcade. So I don't know. It's a very interesting hobby, and I'm spending a lot of money no matter what, whether it's with Arcade1Up or this full size. Like if I was to budget it and be like, here's how much money that I've spent on full size arcades. Here how much money I've spent on home arcade, right? The number is high in both areas, and I just wish it wasn't that expensive. Yeah, and I got a new house so that I could fit more stuff in it. It's not good. All right, he says, we live vicariously through those who show us their arcades, at least I do. Ideas for modding mine. Yeah, so modding is that's an option, right? So like, I was even getting into modding. It's like, hey, just throw a Raspberry Pi in it. Oh wait, Raspberry Pis are $150 now. Are they coming down in price yet? Because it's like, it seems as though like I wonder, are Raspberry Pis actually gone up in value because of chip shortages, or did they catch on that the gaming community is buying Pis and they're like, oh, the gaming community is buying Pis to be able to mod, like to build like their own little gaming? Let's raise that price. So it's like, you know, everything's expensive now. Man, it's tough. I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm complaining. I'm trying to actually have a fun discussion with everybody. So PD7 says Golden Tee XL looks like a real arcade. Thinking about Shack Jam. And this is where I'm at, where it's like, yeah, when you stand in front of the cabinet, the XL version, it looks big. Now, here's the other thing. I've said this before, and if you're still with me, this is something that I am promising, because this YouTube channel, if this YouTube channel and this, what am I trying to say? This podcast that I do generates revenue from the ads that are placed in the video, and they get enough views that I'm able to generate some money that helps to offset the cost of this hobby that I have. But also, I want to thank everybody for all of their watching, just simply watching the content or the super chats. And I just in case you haven't caught it, I am going to give back that money in form of you could win an Arcade1Up Pro. So this is, I've said this on the last few podcasts, but I want to make sure everyone knows about it. There might be different people in the chat. I'm funding the purchase of a Pro, and just by being a subscriber and clicking the link in the description, you can enter to win. It's a giveaway. And so how it works is I'm just asking you that you subscribe, and then there's a link where you can give your email address to this company called Gleam, I think it is. It's a service, and then I hit a button that says pick a winner, and then they give me an email address just of the winner. And then I email you and say, how do I ship this cabinet to you? Now, it's going to take a while before we actually get some, this one's supposed to be like the Street Fighter 2 Pro, which I think is coming out in 2023. Maybe it'll be announced around the time of CES, but here's the timeline of what we think is going to be coming out. So we got the next thing from Arcade1Up that we believe is coming out is the KI Pro. So Killer Instinct Pro, we've seen it on the Arcade1Up website previously, but it's been taken down. And then we've heard from Arcade1Up that the KI Pro is coming out. It just sounds like the marketing team is going to redo that page. And I've been thinking about it. If you look at Arcade1Up's website, they kind of have this, a couple different ways that they market their product now. Let me share my screen and show you what I'm talking about. So if you look at this, you land on their website, you have it here. NFL Blitz, what I'm showing for those that are listening, the NFL Blitz, you hit buy the NFL Blitz cabinet, and it'll take you to this different page. It has an A in front of it. So they have like these different marketing pages where this is kind of their new thing. And I kind of looked at the back end of the code that I could see by viewing the source of the webpage. And it looks like this is kind of like a slightly different service than their Shopify service for managing the order. And it has all of these like inline videos and stuff, and it's super fancy. And I think they're using a different tool for this page. Now you can contrast that to if you do a search for NFL Blitz, and you can see their product page. So I'm going to click on this cabinet here, and this is different. This is kind of like we've seen since like 2019. It's their just normal page. But if you type in the Killer Instinct and you do a search for that, all you'll find is the 3/4 scale version, which is currently on sale for $4.99. And then there's no reference to the Killer Instinct Pro. But that doesn't mean that it's not coming. We should hear, hopefully sometime soon, about what the Killer Instinct Pro... my understanding is NFL Blitz and Marvel vs. Capcom 2 are currently in production, and they're shipping, and they're arriving to customers. And the next cabinet after that is supposed to be the KI Pro. So the KI Pro is going to be shipping. We'll probably see... there's a couple people on Twitter that follow like tracking, shipping, and I think P-Dubs has an account to some of that tracking, shipping. We're probably going to see some type of KI Pro shipping details in the next, if I were to guess, like 6 weeks or something like that. Following that, we'll probably get, all indications are a re-release of the Star Wars cabinet. It's not going to be XL. It's just a re-release, cosmetic changes to the cabinet only for $5.99. Everything else, that there's very little good leaks to indicate what 2023 is going to have for Arcade1Up. All we have is there were previous leaks of a Time Crisis, and that's yet to be announced. So maybe we'll see a Time Crisis. The reason why the KI Pro was delayed is because of the cabinets of the XL. The Golden Tee had a really bad monitor. We all complained about it. Arcade1Up said sorry. Then they acquired a BOE IPS 19-inch monitor, but I think it's going to be 5x4. But that's fine as long as it's as good as quality as the 17-inch BOE. That's supposed to be inside the Killer Instinct Pro. So they can't come out with a crappy monitor on something that's called a Pro. I kept on saying if it's not IPS, it's not Pro. That was something that I kept on saying, and I was messaging John D. If it's not IPS, it's not Pro. If it's not IPS, it's not Pro. I was trying to brainwash him into saying that in board meetings or whatever to Arcade1Up to be like, we can't do a TN monitor and call it Pro. So supposedly they listened, and we're going to see that. Wolfino says the MK and the Street Fighter Pro is a definite for him. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is that Pro. Is that Pro? What's the price of the Pro going to be? I don't really know. I've heard in the past of this idea of it being $1,000. But man, I don't want it to be $1,000. I'll tell you why. So if you take a look at the Golden Tee, right? This Golden Tee is the XL. This was $699. $699 for an XL cabinet is actually a really killer price, right? And so if they come out with a Street Fighter Pro and it's $1,000, right? It's $300 more. $300 more for what? My understanding is the difference between an XL and a Pro when it comes to the functionality that the cabinet's going to have. It's going to be the same machine, right? But the Pro, if they come out with an XL with a BOE monitor and it's still $699, that would be killer, right? It's all about the equipment they're using. The Pro is supposedly have HAP joysticks, right? But here's what's funny is the cabinet that I have behind me, the Yoga Flame, it has higher end sticks than the previous Street Fighter cabinets. Like the spring is, it's just the tension of the spring seems to be slightly better, and that little bit like really makes the cabinet's difference. It really makes those sticks higher quality. I don't plan on swapping out the sticks on the Yoga Flame. So if they can do those in their clones, were they more expensive, or did they just throw a better spring in it? Like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm trying to save some money, and if we could get that Street Fighter Pro for $700, $699, but it doesn't have the HAP sticks, but it does have a BOE monitor. And do you need the Yamaha speakers? Like, I want to know in the chat. Like, I don't know, should we do a poll, or is the poll kind of like dumb? Just in the chat, like, what would you rather have? I'll just type it, and then you guys can respond in the chat. So a Street Fighter XL for, let's say, $699 versus a Street Fighter Pro for $999. Which would you rather have? So here it is, a Street Fighter for $699 or Pro for $999. Now, I'll tell you what I think in a moment after some people respond with it. And yeah, keep in mind, like, the cabinets that people are talking about, the Pro version or the XL version, they've already released these cabinets, right? So you got the KI, which already has a standard edition. Now there's going to be a Pro version. You have Street Fighter. They have many variations of Street Fighter. People want a Mortal Kombat Pro or an XL. It's going to be the same size. It's actually the same cabinet, whether it's XL or Pro. It's the same shape. So really the difference is, like, think about it. This is my sales pitch of why it should be $699, why the Pro should be $699. You could put better sticks in the cabinet, and you could put better speakers in the cabinet for less than $300. And then you could choose whether to do that. I feel like, yeah, I'm probably coming way back around. Like, I've been following Arcade1Up for a really long time. On a 1UP Weekly, we wanted a Pro version, and we thought, yeah, we'll spend this higher amount of money. But now that we're getting closer to it actually happening, or we're starting to see the prices, especially with this Golden Tee $699. If they can get the BOE and still have it at that same price, I mean, look, like, all of these other cabinets that have come out this year, so like the Marvel vs. Capcom's got BOE. Sorry, Zohar, the Mortal Kombat does not. KI does. The Blitz does. So these lines, I think these were kind of coming out around the same time that they had decided to go with the TN monitor. And I had heard from them, it was something like they didn't even really know they were TN. It was, they put out a bid, and people said, we can, manufacturers were like, this is our parts assembly and how much it'll cost to build each unit. They're like, that sounds good. We're saving some money. But no one said, like, how are we saving money? It's like, oh, you're putting crappy monitors in there. And then what I also heard was they were just putting what they thought was they were putting the second gen monitors in, and what the manufacturer ended up using monitors that had even worse fluorescent bulbs in it, only on the left side, not on the right side. So it ended up being like a really bad experience. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. So Zero Hero with an XL. Jolly Green says XL. Marfugal TV says XL. Sir Sega says neither. He's like, no. Console Fanboy, he's like contrarian. He's like, I'm gonna spend $1,000. XL for Street Fighter. Bish Salad XL. JR says neither. I'm happy with my modded Big Blue. There you go. Pursue Arcade says, or Purdue's Arcade says neither. KI, I'm wanting the Pro from Tim. Charlie Chuck says, no need for Pro, just need XL. Anyone who wants Pro is capable of modding, in my humble opinion, or my opinion. Sathius says, is it Sathius? XL. Biggie D's Arcade says XL. Papa Brad's Gaming says, just make a better version for everybody. That's changing the rules, though. You're just saying, just give us a Pro for $699. That's the answer. I mean, maybe. If they could, that'd be cool. Let's see. Yeah, I'd rather have new retro 80s titles than titles. It's the golden age. I see. It's the golden age. Let's see. Pro, if I win the scratch off big, there you go. XL for $699, and just change out the sticks and buttons and just save the money. Let's see. Pro would have online BOE haps, buttons, Sanwa sticks, etc. So I was thinking about that online. Let me try to explain my thoughts on the online, and then Blitz, and then let's see if I can come. I'm going to try to do this because I have a thought in my head, and I know there's some people that are going to be like, disagree with me because you assume you know where I'm going. But let me try. I'm gonna try. Okay. While I appreciate online, and I appreciate that the box says it comes with online, and people purchased it with online. For me personally, the cabinets that I have, I don't participate online very much, almost to the point where I don't need it. But that's me personally. I'm not saying that you don't need online, okay? Don't get the words twisted up. And I'm also not saying that you don't have a right to be upset about the online debacles going on. That's not what I'm saying. Just my personal interest in the topic is a little bit lower because it doesn't personally affect me. And I think you, all those people out there, can appreciate when something doesn't personally affect you, you don't immediately have a concern for it because you're like, this doesn't bother me. You do, however, have friends that are affected, and then you get upset about it, right? So there's empathy, right? So I have empathy towards the debacle, but I don't have an answer of whether it'll be fixed or not. So I don't want to make speculations that are overly negative. I'll give you an example. I don't know why I feel like I need to justify this in any way, but I'll give you an example. When the Golden Tee arrived, or when I saw the online experience on the website for right here. Do you guys remember what I did? I made a video that's like, hey guys, I think they screwed up the monitor. Why do I think that? Is because the video has pretty clear indication that it's going to have a lower quality monitor, right? But it's hard for me to comment on something that I don't have, like, it's like, we could make a video that's like, beware, the online is going to destroy your life, right? There is no online, and Code Mystics is never going to fix it. The desync problem is going to shake the foundation of your game room and cause all your cabinets to fall into it. That's just not accurate, right? It's like, we could go crazy about the fear of the unknown, right? It's like, I try to focus on things that are in your control, and whether or not the cabinet will have issues or online are out of my control and out of my knowledge of whether it will be or not, and whether or not you think you should cancel your pre-order is your choice, right? In fact, and Stringer Films like, Code Mystics has nothing to do with it. I think they have partly to do with it, right? In the sense that Arcade1Up licensed the Gemini technology for the communication and shaking hands of the online netcode that needs to be implemented by the emulator, by the integrator, to be able to do the online. So Code Mystics is not fully responsible for the technology, and it's probably a mistake from the integrators, but Code Mystics has the ability to, they are a part of it in the sense that they at least are managing that initial negotiation of the handshake between the different cabinets through their Gemini back-end service, right? But here's the thing, like, we'll find out. I mean, I think what I've heard, right, is there was some communication that October 15th, which is next week, is when that's supposed to be online. You know, the Blitz and the Marvel vs. Capcom, but I don't know. And for those that ordered the cabinet, I hope that you have a good experience. I hope that any issues get cleared up. I think I have some confidence that since it appears to be all related to technology that could be patched, and then I think there'll be a positive outcome. I think it'll be a positive outcome. Let's see what you guys think in the chat about it. Let's see. Bish Salad says, Arcade1Up probably assumed that if people thought Mortal Kombat was a good-looking game, they could put any monitor in it because these people can't see anyway. I walked right into that one. That's pretty good. I walked right into that one. That's good. So, Pro Star Wars for $8.99. Let's see. So, we believe that the Star Wars re-release will be $5.99. And we've previously heard that the Pros will likely be priced at $999. Is it possible that the Pro Star Wars will be $899? I mean, at one point, I heard the number $1299 for certain titles. So I'd hate to break it to you, but I wonder if the Pro Star Wars would actually be $1199. It's like instead of $1099, they'll go $100 higher. Instead of $100 less, they'll go $100 higher. Probably because they can. There's this joke that I have among my friends that I'm talking about. It's like, hey, do you guys know the difference between an XL and a Pro? The price. It's kind of true. Like, they're going to put a little bit more into it. It feels like if the price of the XL is $699 and the price of the Pro is $999, I don't know if there's $300 more in value to go to that Pro, even if it's just speakers and a better joysticks. Like, that's a lot of money gap between it. Like, if you go to Walmart for $379 right now, you can get a Yoga Flame without a riser, and it's still online. So $379. You wait a little bit, that's going to be discounted, right? So the difference between an XL and a Pro is nearly the price of another another cabinet that's a low end. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe price anchoring is what's going on. They'll do the Pro at $999, so then the XL looks like a good deal. Will they make both versions? I mean, that would be kind of cool. Customers would love that, right? Imagine if they come out with a Street Fighter Pro 2023, and it's a Street Fighter Pro for $999, and it's an XL. It's an XL for $699, and the user gets to choose. That would be really cool for the consumer, right? Because we'd be like, I'll just buy whichever one I want. And maybe they'll trick us with the whole, well, if you get the Pro, then in the leaderboard, you'll have this little mark that says Pro. But if you don't have the Pro, it's not going to say Pro. So it's kind of like an Apple thing where, have you seen the thing where it's like if you text somebody that's with Android, you get like green, but if you have an Apple, you get a blue one. You're like, oh, I want to text all my friends that also have the blue. It's like this, I don't know. I really hope they're not doing it that way. They're like, someone at the marketing at Arcade1Up is all like, yeah, we're going to turn this Pro thing into something you're proud of, right? See, 19K Fox, you got to have that Pro logo. I don't know. Pitbull says XL for the win. That's what he thinks. See, I've been talking to Pitbull lately, and he's got some really good points, right? He goes on and on about how many full-size cabinets that he has. But then he's slowly revealing to me a lot of the ones that he has are Cabaret. So I got 2 Cabarets, and I love them because they are more like... So the XL... Ooh, I should make a video on that. Like, show my Golden Tee next to my Pac-Man, right? So the Golden Tee XL just makes the Pac-Man Cabaret look super tiny. But what's cool about the Cabaret cabinets, the older vintage, we'll call them vintage cabinets, they have a CRT in it, but they're small. They're like really small. They're really cute, and I got 2 of those, and I do really like them. I wish I could get better titles in the Cabaret. I mean, Pac-Man's pretty cool, but yeah, I would get a ton of Cabarets. Well, I was able to get them at a pretty decent price, $650 for Phoenix. I think that's really good. It's in great shape. And then Pac-Man, $900 I think it was for a Pac-Man. I mean, I kind of like it. I feel like it's an investment, It's like I could probably get the money back, that type of thing, and I can play with for years, See? Cabaret cabs are ballers. It's pronounced bangers. You're supposed to say bangers. Let's see. Stringer Films with the has Star Wars XL Pro or regular been 100% confirmed? No. Not an XL or a Pro. Wait. The regular one? The re-release is happening, buddy. That's totally happening. Yeah. I know you're talking about this because you want to get your hands on the PCB, right? Because what Stringer does is he has some authentic, vintage, arcade, full-size Star Wars cabinets, but like a cockpit he has. And what he did was he put the Arcade1Up PCB into it, right? So he's not using the original vector graphic monitor. I think he's just using like a CRT Or is it an LCD, Stringer? Did you do an LCD or did you do, I think you did a CRT, right? But he needs some more PCBs. And so from Stringer's point of view, the PCB, there you go. Papa Brad says he sent Stringer Films a Star Wars PCB for free. That's awesome, man. So the Star Wars PCB is probably worth $500 to Stringer. Oh, I see. Dell 20-inch. Okay, so you did a Dell 20-inch. And so you take a Dell 20. It's really funny because send me a picture on Messenger. I can show it to everybody if you want to share. Let me pull that up if you guys want to see it. So, Mr. Matt Stringer Films. There we go. So yeah, it's a pretty cool setup. So, and I was chatting with Stringer because I had seen a cockpit. I had seen a cockpit Star Wars, and I think it was within reasonable driving distance for it. And I was talking to Stringer. I was like, "Do you think it's a good deal?" And so this is the one I was looking at. So this is the Star Wars cockpit, and Stringer flipped out because he saw it said $1,000. He's like, "Buy it now!" And I'm like, "No. It's $6,500." And then the same guy's got the Star Wars pinball, which is another one I really want. So this is my daughter's favorite pinball machine. So it's the Episode 1 Star Wars pinball. Here we go. So this is what Stringer just sent right now. Okay, I see. So Papa Brad, I didn't see this one. Okay. I see. So this is I see this. I never caught this one. So they're touring Papa Brad. Or no, Papa Brad is touring with Stringer Films, and they're going through the different cabinets that he has available. And let's see. There it is. So this is the Star Wars cockpit that he's got a Dell 20-inch monitor in it. And let's see, it turns around. And then there you go. That's the Arcade1Up PCB inside a cockpit. It's pretty cool. It's very, very cool. And so, let's see. I gotta pause that. So yeah, I was looking at that with Stringer, and we were talking about it. And I was debating whether or not to reach out to this guy who's in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And this is going back to what I was talking about in the beginning of the show. It's like I'm looking everywhere, and this is the prices for things that I want to get. Now, this guy's got a Time Pilot for $900, but a Rolling Thunder Time Pilot. But I'm just not. I don't want to spend that much money, right? And then this one, I think. Let's see, Star Wars Cockpit. The game works, but needs restarted sometimes before working properly. Cab is in good shape. So, but you look at it close, it kind of looks dirty. It's like, man, $6,000, and then that one's really big, so it's probably out of the question anyway. And then let me see if I can pull up. I've been doing Facebook Market searches, and I think I saved a whole bunch of things that I'm currently interested in. And let's see, where is the Facebook Market saved stuff? Okay, all right. Just give me 1 second, guys. See if I can find it. No. Yeah, I can't find it. Sorry about that, guys. It's pretty frustrating. I guess I don't know the Facebook Market app very well. I know that I'm getting spammed with Glenn's Buildacade on Facebook a lot. And I've been kind of tagging and saving things that I've been finding that's within driving distance. There's a couple cabinets that are in Sioux City that looked like, they would be pretty decent, but there was like a Nintendo tent, and it was like $900. The guy's just all like, it's kind of been in my... It's been in, what do you say? It's been in storage for like 6 months, but it turns on. And I thought that was a pretty good deal. And then there's this Namco candy cab that's in my area. Also $950. Maybe I could negotiate that down. But it's a Namco candy cab. right? And I was talking to 19K Fox. He's like, man, those are really rare, but it's got like a 15-inch LCD in it. So it's like, I would have to get that guy to go down to like $500, and then they're kind of smaller, so that'd be really cool. Let me see if I can pull that one up if I do a search for Namco. And then they market it as like this kids. Yeah, I should bookmark all these things, and then I can make a video of it. Instead of doing this now, I'll just chat with you guys. Let's see. Harvey has a quick question. What's your question, Harvey? Great channel. Quick question. Ask your question, Harvey. We're waiting for it. Let's see. Marfogel TV says it would be awesome if Arcade1Up put out a bigger screen with less border. Rat could just replace the 17-inch. I think that would be possible. Yeah, I guess the idea would be like, there's some people that do the mods. Yeah, they do a 19-inch monitor upgrade on the Arcade1Up. Sure. And then there's a couple vendors out there that sell like a different like border that goes around, like the bezel, that can fit the 19-inch viewport of like a 19-inch monitor, and you can get the Dell 19-inch or 20-inch monitor, and they fit in there. I have a handful. I haven't actually put them in a cabinet. I've been thinking about doing that, and I still haven't got around to replacing the Golden T monitor. I'm just lazy. I do have all the parts to do it, but let's see. Big Blue or Yoga Flame? I'm in the UK, and we finally get these. Sorry to be random. That's cool, man. What do you guys think? In the chat, help him out. Type in Big Blue or Yoga Flame. What is your recommendation for Harvey? Do you think he should get the Big Blue, or do you think he should get the Yoga Flame? Now, if you did live in the States, you would be able to look up and figure out if Big Blue is on sale. And so Big Blue, I want to say Big Blue you can get for $399. Is that right? But that's in the U.S. I'm not, yeah, $399 on Amazon in the U.S. and even Best Buy. I don't know if you could get. The point is you in the UK might be able to get Big Blue cheaper than the Yoga Flame. So it depends on, I'm guessing they're the same price though. Now I think the Yoga Flame in my let's see, do I not have it available on the site? I just have the review on it. I think the Yoga Flame is better. If you were in the United States, they have a Walmart version that's $379. So there's that version. Don't know if the UK offers that same version, but that's something to look at. It's something to consider. So it just depends on the money. If the money's exactly the same, let's say the price is exactly the same, and it's Big Blue versus the Yoga Flame, and you take all of the subjection out of it, like you're like, whether you like the Big Blue shape or you like the Midway shape, exactly the same price, and the likeness is out. I think the hardware is better on the Yoga Flame. So I think Yoga Flame kind of gets that extra credit there because the PCB that's inside the Yoga Flame is higher end than what's in the Big Blue, and I can feel the speediness in the UI. I don't know if it's possible to feel the speediness inside the gameplay, but if they were exactly the same price, and the sticks in the Yoga Flame have like a springier spring, so in my opinion that has more value. For me, again, this is a little subjective, but like I wouldn't swap out the joysticks that are in the Yoga Flame. And so again, if they're the same price, I think Yoga Flame's the winner. Let's see. Stringer Film says Big Blue. Gideon says Big Blue. Bob says get the Big Blue at a discount. Zero Hero says Big Blue for the fighting games. If you like, beat them. UPS, Yoga Flame, Final Fight, cabinet on steroids. Yeah, you also want to look at the gameplay differences. I mean, subjective, like there's no objective answer to be like which one is better. If the games list, the Yoga Flame has 14 games, so you could say it has more games, so that has value because it has more games. JR says the Big Blue. Big D's like Yoga Flame. Yeah, about the same price here. Thanks for your help. Yeah. You're my boy, Blue. All right, so in the UK, Yoga Flame is cheaper. Buy from Game. Yoga Flame is cheaper in the UK? Well, there you go. There's also the Hadouken version over the Yoga Flame. And so it's basically like, do you like the bluish color? Do you like the yellowish color? It's kind of a slight difference. Some people like one, some people like the other. If you want to go with the crowd, I think Hadouken edition has more likes on it. Like, I would guess if I did a survey, more people would say they like the Hadouken edition. So, a little preference there. Anyway, thank you guys so much for... Let's see, let's go to this song. There we go. My hour is spent. I'm actually 5 minutes over, so thank you guys so much for hanging out in this episode. I hope you really enjoyed it. Again, so every Sunday, I can't say the time because this time was off a little bit, but typically 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for this podcast where we talk about home arcade. I gotta, what's the word I'm looking for? I gotta level with you. I'm frustrated with price. I'm frustrated with options. I got the space. I have money. I have savings. I just don't like spending it. I like saving money. I like seeing my savings stay the same or go up a little, not go down, right? And so whether you're buying full-size cabinets, whether you're buying from Arcade1Up or iArcade or Multicades or building your own or playing it all on a TV, it's whatever you want, of course. But the price has got to come down, right? The price has got to come down. Yes, pre-orders are for suckers and YouTubers. Like I said on my last video, most of the cabinets that I buy are not full price. I was kind of looking at it. The very first cabinet that I bought was Pac-Man for $299, and then Black Friday came and it was available for $249. So I missed out on saving money on that. But almost every other cabinet that I've ever bought since then, I think Final Fight was a pre-order. Most of them I got from QVC, HSN, Target deals, Walmart deals, and it was from waiting. It was from waiting. And even as a content creator, I wait. I'll do a review later. Don't have to be first. I think my channel is enjoyable. I don't have to make the content first. Some people get mad at me. They're like, you're talking about a topic that's 4 weeks old. I'm like, it's my show. I can talk about what I want. People still enjoy it. Don't have to be first for content, and you don't have to be first for cabinets. Just, if you want to, go ahead and do that. Or you can save some money. That's where I'm at. If I save money, I can buy some more stuff. All right, see you guys. Have a really fun week. I hope you enjoy your week. If you like this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. We'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.